Hey you guys, this is Carter from Crow Archery and Motorcycle Adventures, and this video is actually kind of a surprise to me that I'm even making it, but I decided what I was going to do based on this email that I actually just got, and it comes from a girl, and okay, it's pretty obvious that, she hasn't gone through and watched, a lot of my older videos and stuff, because she asked me of all people, the question of how do you know that you've met the one? The person that you were supposed to be with. Okay, and anybody that's been around since the beginning of this channel or, knows a lot about my life. I am not necessarily the greatest person to ask this question. So, why would I be making this video? I decided that I was going to make it because I see things a lot differently now than what I did back then. Okay? And, it was one of those things where it's like, oh man, I really don't know what to say. I don't know how to answer this. But then I got to thinking about it and I realized that actually I do know how to answer this. The first thing that I want to tell you is that I have the worst track record when it comes to relationships. Okay? Every relationship, as far as like actual intimate relationship that could have developed or did develop, had failed miserably. Some on their part, some on my part. I'm not the kind of person that shifts all the blame onto one person. Except for there was one relationship that I was in, and that was my marriage, to where the majority of the problem was my ex-wife. But that was because of true narcissism. Like, not the, easy way of just throwing the word around to play victim, but truly horrid. Horrid, god awful, bad. But that's okay. Because looking back, I'm going to tell you this much. The first thing and the most important thing that you need to realize is that you cannot allow any of your previous relationships that have failed, or if you're single now, or whatever, you cannot allow that to make you become jaded. Alright, because at that point you are automatically already setting yourself up for failure because you are looking for a flaw in any way, shape, or form. And then the second that one comes along, you will instantly get rid of that person or find reasons continuously of why you should get rid of that person. And that isn't fair to them. Okay, and to me, I feel that that is very, very, very important. And the reason that I say that is because I've been down that road. Okay? And with that being said, let's take a look at some seriously good points to consider. I guess the best way that I can answer this is to think about things that I would look for in, a significant other. And to be honest with you, I'm a single guy. I have been for a long time. And, I'm happy with that because, again, I've seen the worst. And I don't want to be at the worst. I'm trying to get to up here whenever it comes to that situation. So let's dive into it. To me, I feel like the right person for you is someone that is going to come in and challenge you in a good way. Not in the sense of like disagreeing for the sake of disagreeing, or disagreeing to try to manipulate you into getting their way, but challenging you in the sense of forcing you to think of things from a new perspective that truly boosts you. You know what I'm saying? Like, one, challenges you. Two, that has the ability to be truly, truly honest with you even whenever it's not what you want to hear. You know, I think that quality within itself right there is beyond respectable. You know, like, which I'll lead into a couple of stories, which you can go back and look at some of my other videos where I talk about this. One of the most recent videos that I made was the difference between excuses and dealing with things that you can't change. And I actually talked about a girl that I had met, you know, this was a couple of years ago. And, you know, in the conversations that we had, she had challenged something that I'd said. And, oh man, it kind of showed me a couple of things. But, you know, again, I'm not going to go into all that detail and everything. You can go back and watch that video. And if you haven't seen it and you're here watching this one, I highly suggest that you do so. Because it could probably help out a lot of people. But anyway, so, and then the other big relationship, like actual relationship, that one that I was just talking about, it never developed into a relationship or anything. It was just more along the lines of it taught me stuff that I wanted and showed me things that I wanted. Okay, so again, we'll move past that. And here's the thing. So when you have someone that respects you enough to tell you the truth, even if it's something that you don't want to hear, before they screw you over or, you know, anything like that, they're letting you know that they respect you enough to think about you and your best interests first before their own. Okay? No matter how bad it hurts, that's part of it. Another thing that I really stop and I think about is you have to consider how this person is moving. Are they inspiring you to grow and become a better person? And are you inspiring them to do the same? Or are you just expecting them to take care of everything? You know, if they are going out of their way to try to prove to you that they're going to do absolutely everything, you should probably consider that a red flag and go. Because here's the thing, like, I know out in society, it is very popular to assume that one party should basically take care of everything and then the other should be able to just kind of do whatever they want. But that's not how success works. That's not where that comes from. So, again, you have to take a step back and you have to ask yourself, am I on my purpose? If I am on my purpose, how did this person come into my life? Is it because I was on my purpose and I'm going to continue to be on my purpose? Or is it because you were lonely and going out of the way to go find them? Okay? That's a big, big, big indicator on if this person is actually truly a fit for you. Does this person get overly needy and desperate and all of that by constantly blowing you up? You know, it's a lot of things that you have to take into consideration. It's a very difficult thing to answer because there's always that saying out there that when you know, you know. Well, the problem is, how many times have us been in that position to where, you know, we're with somebody, it's just like, oh, well, when you know, and then it turned out it was bad. You see what I'm saying? So, you need to also understand that you're not truly going to know unless you make the risk. And then as you take that risk and you go over the course of time and, you know, see this person's actions. I'm not saying people won't screw up because they will. No one is perfect. But there is a difference between a screw up and then a continuous loop and continuous conscious decision to keep doing the same thing over and over and over again. You know, one of my favorite sayings is the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting a different result. And a lot of people get stuck in that, especially whenever they develop serious feelings for someone over the course of, you know, a long course of time. Okay? And that was a mistake that I made. You know, looking back in my life, there have literally been 4 girls that I have ever truly developed feelings for. One was my first girlfriend in high school. That was like the puppy love thing. Well, we split up, and now she's married to this day to one of these people that used to be my friend. I won't go into that, but they have multiple kids together, so good for them. 2 was this girl that worked next door to me whenever I was working at a retail outlet, which was Walmart. And, we were on and off for a multitude of years. And that was just a bad relationship as a whole. Not because she was a bad person, but the relationship at the time and how it developed, and plus her situation, plus my situation, it should have never happened in the first place. But greed is, and lust and all of that is what led to that. And it took a long time to let that go. The third one was my marriage. And obviously, if you know anything about this channel, then you know that was a complete and total disaster. And then the fourth one was one that I never had a relationship with, but it was the only one that I knew that there was something a lot greater there. But divine timing was not in my favor. A lot of things could have been how I responded. There could be a multitude of reasons, but I had to end up letting that go and learn from it, learn a lesson. Okay, and again, these are great examples of why I'm not the right person to ask this question. But I will say this. When you meet the right person, it's not about looking at them from a standpoint of checking off boxes. It is about understanding that they are a human being with flaws that you are eventually going to have to see. And you are either A, going to accept, or B, you are not going to accept. But please take my advice. As a man, I will say this much. Do not hold this man up to unrealistic expectations. That is where you doom yourself and the relationship from the start. And the same goes for if you're a guy watching this video. Do not hold this woman up to unrealistic expectations. Because a lot of people, after they have been burned throughout the years, get to this standpoint to where they let that idea of knowing their worth get so far to their head that they set this standard into an impossible place. And that's a huge issue. Because here's the thing, that will put you in a position to where the person who truly is good for you and right for you, you will automatically disqualify because you will purposely go out of your way to look for problems that they have. Okay? And it puts you in a position to where you're doing this number. But you want to know what you're not paying attention to as you're pointing this finger? You're not thinking about these other 3 that are pointing directly back at you. Okay? And that's why I try to tell people, look, do the work. Do the work. Go out, get some humility. Learn more about yourself. That way, whenever you're walking around and you're able to be truly happy by yourself, you're not necessarily out here looking for a relationship. You walk and you grow into love. You don't run and fall into it. That's an old video I made forever ago. And, looking back at some of my older ones, I kind of laugh at myself. But that's also a part of it too. You got to be able to laugh at yourself. You got to be able to get to that point in your healing process to where you can look back in life and you can say, oh, well, it is what it is. That's okay. And move on. All right? So, all in all, I'm going to, really emphasize on that last point that I made. Don't put yourself in this position to where you create all of these unrealistic standards for this man or this woman. Because at that point, you will continue to live the rest of your life looking for someone who does not exist. Okay? Either way, I love you guys. Like, share, comment, subscribe, hit the bell notification. And if you have any comments, concerns, questions, put them in the comment section below. And we can go from there. Peace.